Alright, now to start this one off, the interest rate on the new I-bond for November is now currently at 6.89 if you were to buy one today. And that is partly made up of the 0.4% fixed rate that comes with it, where that's been the highest it's been in like 10 years or something like that, on top of the composite rate of the other 6 point essentially 5. So that's what all your 0% fixed rate ones will be, about 6.5, 6.48 or something like that. But if you were to buy a new one, it's 6.89 at the moment. And then that 0.4% carries onwards throughout the whole life of the bond. So, I mean, it's looking pretty decent. And for some other comparable thing would be the 10-year Treasury, which is up a ton right now. Looking at it currently, it's at like 3.88%, where, I mean, just a few days ago it was 4.25%. Not that long ago, and it very well could have broached like 5%, maybe even more than that, depending on what the Fed does here at their December meeting. The plan is hinted at that they will raise interest rates another 0.5%, which would probably send the 10-year Treasury up towards that 4.5% rate, maybe even 4.25%, 4.5%, somewhere in between there. And then at the next meeting following that, in the beginning of February, I believe, people are speculating that it's going to be another 0.25% raise, maybe even another 0.5% raise, which would boost the 10-year Treasury close to 5, maybe even 5.25%, depending on how these next two meetings go. Which, I mean, 5+% locked in for 10 years, to me seems pretty good. I don't know, because these I-bonds, I think, are eventually, inflation will get under control, and they'll go back down to a reasonable 2-something%, maybe 3. I've heard rumors that they're going to hit for 4% inflation, just because 2's too hard to get to without just crashing so many things. So for me personally, I'm going to probably go lock in the 6.89% next year, just to have 6 months worth of that at least. I don't think it's a bad plan. And there is some history of inflation going down and then it's spiking back up because they lower interest rates too soon, because they break something like the bond market, the stock market, the housing market. There's a lot that can go wrong. The US dollar, whenever you're just raising interest rates quickly and aggressively, and continuing to raise interest rates, you can't keep that up forever to fight off inflation. So we'll just have to see. It's a pretty good time to have a bunch of cash on you to invest in stocks and bonds. and be able to hold stocks, I would assume, through this downturn until eventually they start going up again. So that's also why I like to have stocks that pay dividends. And I'm going that strategy at least. Which again, I will not hit my $100 of dividends in a year, but I'm going to go for, hopefully, hitting 300 next year. Just hold on, keep adding to it, and eventually it should work out. And then hold on to bonds. So I think I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe it'll be worth it more to just hold the bonds for a while the stock market crashes, continues to crash for who knows how long. Maybe a month, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, a year and a half, I don't know. Who knows? So maybe there'll be a little bit of a signal when it's a good time to get out of bonds and move to more heavily into stocks, and preferably, for me at least, dividend paying stocks. But again, the iBond, like 6.89%, kind of G-word guaranteed. For anyone who was kind of skeptical of, what was it, the 7.12% like a year ago, and then it went to like 9 point something. And now it's again almost 7%. So that's a pretty good year and a half track record. Because inflation's been horrible and it's sticky, and it's probably going to continue to be bad for a while. For 6 months to a year, maybe more, who knows.